Hey, what's up guys? It's Derek from the Baseball Channel, coming at you again today with a very different video. This is nothing like anything I've ever put on my channel, but I think it's an extremely important video. I really hope you guys watch. I really hope you guys listen. I'm going to be kind of talking about everything that's going on with America, with Black Lives Matter and police and George Floyd and everything surrounding that. I know this can be a really divisive topic. I just want to make it clear. My goal here is to educate, really. Just as far as my background goes, I honestly have more friends that are people of color than are white. My high school was majority minority. I think like less than 15% of my high school was white people. So I've heard a lot of different perspectives, and I really wish more of the country could be more integrated and it could experience the things like I've experienced, because you learn so much more when your surroundings are not just people who look just like you. You're kind of out of this protective bubble, and your opinions get challenged, your thoughts get challenged, and ultimately you end up learning a lot about the experiences of others and how that shapes them, how that shapes society. And I'm talking kind of vague, out in the clouds right now. Bottom line, I have a baseball channel. A lot of my viewers are young and white, and I think it is extremely important for young white people to have a better understanding of everything that is happening. So I'm going to try to break that down. I'm going to try to talk about it. I hope you guys listen. If you guys want to challenge, ask, debate, anything like that, my Instagram is tbcfromyt. I invite you to DM me, ask me questions, say what you disagree with. I want to talk. I want to talk to people. And that is my invitation to do that. Please, by all means, DM me. I will answer. So now that we kind of have a foundation for what this video is going to be, I want to send my condolences to George Floyd, his family. Obviously, that was a brutal killing. I also want to send my sympathies and empathies to the entire Black community who is dealing with a great deal of stress and trauma, because, quite frankly, it is uncomfortable, it is scary, and I just want to let you know that I am with you, I support you, and I really want to work through this together. I hope we can make change in this country because we need it. And finally, I really just encourage all of you to just take time, as you know, the nation is in crisis, to learn more, listen to Black voices, educate yourself, do some research, see what kind of issues beyond George Floyd and police brutality can you find. Because I think you'll find that police brutality and white cops killing Black people, or any cops killing Black people, there's a lot more to it. That's really just the tip of the iceberg, unfortunately. And I want to get into some of that. So I think one big thing with this whole issue is everyone can see George Floyd's killing was merciless, it was cruel, it was wrong, it was bad policing, and just about everyone can pretty much agree he didn't really resist arrest. There were 4 cops holding him down, he was handcuffed, and for minutes on end he had a knee to his neck saying, "I can't breathe." Most people, I think, appreciate that is cruel, it's poor policing, and I'm glad we can agree on that. I think a lot of other killings, it's been split-second decisions, and people were more comfortable defending the police, and I'm not going to say I agree with that, but in this case it really is indisputable video evidence, so we can agree on that much. And now I want to kind of talk about how that leads into protests, which then turn into riots, looting, whatever you want to call it, and let's get into that. Okay, so first of all, with the riots and looting, you have to understand that this is not just George Floyd. Obviously, everyone wants justice for George Floyd. People want to remember his death. But to say, you know, one death and now you're looting places, or, you know, police brutality really isn't this huge issue, you don't need to do this, or looting and rioting will not create change for George Floyd or justice for George Floyd. I think you're missing some of this bigger picture, and that is, for decades, generations, centuries, going back to slavery, police have basically been on the front lines enforcing policies that the government put in place that really hold back Black people. If you want to learn more kind of about what I'm talking about, please, I beg you, if you have Netflix, watch 13th. It is very, very interesting. You will learn a lot, I promise you. And a lot of black people are very frustrated with the system that has come to be in America, and to say that racism is over, or to say that, you know, slavery's done, civil rights is done, why are you still complaining? You're really missing a lot of these bigger, more nuanced issues that it's no longer a black guy going down the street being called the N-word, or, you know, being shot for nothing. And it's not to say that doesn't happen, because it does, but racism in America now has become a much more nuanced, almost gray area, and it really needs to be addressed, and it's really easy to ignore for people in a place of privilege. And I'm not saying you have to support rioting and protesting, and let me kind of get into that a little bit more. I'm not endorsing the destruction of property. I don't think it's good for small businesses, or really any business, to just be destroyed. But when you understand that black people for centuries, hundreds of years, have been trying to have their voices heard, and the only thing you can say at this point is not anything beyond justice for George Floyd. You're not supporting Black Lives Matter, you're saying all lives matter, you're saying blue lives matter. I'll get into that in a little bit. And all you can criticize is the rioting, and you're not criticizing the government, you're not criticizing the state of policing. I think you're missing a lot of it, and it's okay to complain about rioting, trust me, it really is. But you also need to be complaining about the systems and the way black people have been unheard for so long, and how they're frustrated. They're sick of seeing stories in the news of a cop killing a black person and there is no justice. They're sick of sentences against black people that are too long. They're sick of over-criminalization of black men, the school-to-prison pipeline, and things of this nature, mass incarceration, that you can learn a lot about. I'm telling you, please watch 13th, the movie, on Netflix. It's a documentary. You will learn so much. But I think as you kind of understand how big racial issues actually are, and even though it doesn't affect your white community, it is still hugely impactful in the United States. And then you start to understand, okay, yeah, these people really haven't been heard, they haven't seen change in decades. Maybe this peaceful protest isn't enough. People have pointed this out, where someone like Colin Kaepernick takes a kneel, it's totally peaceful protest, everyone attacks him for disrespecting the flag, and now everyone is saying just be peaceful. That's how MLK did it. And I think you're kind of missing some of the bigger point, which is people are frustrated, they want to be heard, they feel helpless, they want to do something. And it's not to say rioting is good. Plenty of the rioters aren't even part of Black Lives Matter movement. Antifa is not really Black Lives Matter. There are anarchists who are coming in, people coming from out of state because it's a chance for them to break stuff, just opportunists who don't care about the movement, who just want to steal. So it's really this big envelope of everything, and a lot of people will try to be peaceful, and you know, as police interact with them, it's spraying mace, it's pushing them with shields, a lot of these sorts of things that are really harmful, and I think that's important to consider. Okay, so next up I'm going to talk about when people say all lives matter, blue lives matter, stuff of that nature. Okay, let me get something clear. No one is saying all lives do not matter. The Black Lives Matter movement is supporting and uplifting a community that has been pretty much targeted by the government and really abused by police, abused by a system that has kept them down, it has kept them suppressed, it is really dangerous and exhausting, and the movement is trying to uplift these communities. It's trying to give justice to an unequitable system, and to say all lives matter, of course they do. No shit, okay? Why would a group only care about black lives and want all white people dead? Okay, it's trying to uplift a community that gets profiled on a daily basis, that ends with police brutality, that ends with needless killings. And to say all lives matter is only diverting from the movement of trying to advance black people in our American society that has kept them suppressed for so long. to say Blue Lives Matter, okay? It's the same concept. Blue Lives Matter was never a movement until Black Lives Matter was, okay? So instead of supporting and understanding and listening to Black Lives Matter, you're just defending kind of your own communities that you feel are above criticism, okay? I respect most police officers, okay? You can be a good police officer, but the bottom line is we're not talking about police officers as individual people. We're talking about the whole system. And when you have laws in place that suppress black people and police officers are the ones enforcing the laws, you're gonna have some distaste. Do you get that? Okay, no matter, even if your dad is a cop, your uncle's a cop, your wife's a cop, they can be a great person independently with you, but the point is, when cops are enforcing a system that black people feel is oppressive, is unfair, they're going to be frustrated with the treatment of cops. Instead of trying to defend yourself, your communities, these groups that really are not vulnerable, okay? White people are privileged. Cops are privileged. And I think it's okay to listen to these issues that you can have both, okay? You can have respected cops, you can have white lives being appreciated, but you can also have Black Lives Matter. Don't think Black Lives Matter is in place of cops. It's not in place of having a civil society. It's not trying to abolish all cops or all social control. It's trying to reestablish what that looks like, really. It's instead of having a militarized police force that, you know, is just taking advantage of the inequalities in communities, I think it's really important to be open to criticism. I just don't like seeing people trying to go on all-out defense, trying to pick apart every argument of Black Lives Matter as if there aren't issues. And there are issues, they're huge issues, they need to be addressed. I want them to be addressed, and I hope that you can kind of understand that and really understand that Black Lives Matter is not an attack on you or your community. It is an attempt to uplift the unheard and the unspoken for and the mistreated people in our country. I think that's all I got. This video was really difficult to make. There's so much I could say, there's so much I want to say, there's so much I wish I could say. I don't want this video to drag on forever because I actually want people to listen to it. I think what's going on is extremely sad. I want you to reach out to black friends you do have and try to listen to their feelings. And I want you to know that you're not exempt from being ignorant or being contributing to a system that oppresses just because you have black friends or you aren't calling black people the N-word. I want you to consider all the biases you have. I want you to think about, do you think black people commit more crimes because they're less than white people, or do you think that generational poverty passed down from the times of slavery has contributed to communities that really don't have anywhere to turn and are then targeted by policies from Richard Nixon to Ronald Reagan to Bill Clinton and then Bush that all try to over-criminalize black communities, and the most vulnerable people were given the stiffest punishments. Fathers taken out of communities, children growing up without both parents. It creates this cycle that people really can't escape, and it's become a huge challenge. And I just want you guys to understand, you know, as cities burn, which is horrible, that it's more than just trying to get justice for George Floyd's life. It's fighting back at a system that has been horribly oppressive, horribly dangerous, and really deadly for black communities for centuries. And I want you guys to really fight your current beliefs to try to think about new things. I encourage you to watch 13th on Netflix. I encourage you to go all over the internet, listen to black voices, listen to new perspectives, DM me, I'll be happy to talk about it, TBC from YT. And that's what I got for today. I didn't really plan on this video going this long, but I think it's really important. Please, I want you guys to talk to me. I want you guys to think more about it. And if you made it this far, you're awesome. Thank you for watching. Thank you.